Well, changes could be coming to Head Start programs here in Wisconsin.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is proposing new standards for how Head Start programs operate across the country. Our Elena Tomish explains what could change and what this could mean for Wisconsin families.
Those with the Wisconsin Head Start Association are expressing concern as the Department of Health and Human Services propose changes to the Head Start program. These changes could impact staffing, services for students with disabilities, and family support.
This notice of proposed rulemaking that came out today is really a dramatic overhaul of the regulations and rules that really are kind of the operating manual for Head Start.
Head Start leaders say the changes could also upend systems that have improved school readiness for students for decades as class sizes could grow, potentially hurting the quality of teaching and worsening ratios in the classroom.
If you've ever worked or been around small kids, you know that they need a lot of support.
Over 12,000 children in Wisconsin are enrolled in Head Start, and they're concerned the proposed changes will create uneven quality across communities and will reduce access to these essential services for children.
Really just has me concerned for kids and families. Head Start programs are doing amazing work in communities, and that uncertainty and I think a lack of understanding of what it's like to run a Head Start classroom really seems evident to me in some of the framing of this proposed rule.
The HHS says the proposal will hopefully bring President Trump's vision to light to refocus Head Start on its core mission of preparing our country's most vulnerable children for success. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said today, quote, "We are removing unnecessary bureaucracy, strengthening nutrition and physical health, trusting parents and local communities, and opening Head Start to hundreds of thousands more children. That's how we renew the promise of Head Start for the next generation." Maurer says as of now, parents and guardians shouldn't expect any changes of their Head Start provider as the school year begins in just a few weeks. In Madison, Elena Tomish, WMTV 15 News.
Senator Tammy Baldwin also responding to these changes today, saying President Trump's decision on this puts children's well-being and safety on the line.